Hey guys, so before we get started, I just want to show you what the end goal is going to look like. So you'll be able to have a chest anywhere in your world or at a specific location where players can open it and interact via the items, like an item menu. And when you click on the items, it immediately says or does whatever you want it to do. So in this case, I made it say 1 in the chat, but you can make it do whatever you want. This one says 2, and this one takes you to the next page. And this one takes you back a page. So you can make it say stuff like that. And we're just going to be making that for this entire tutorial. And you'll be able, once you make it, you'll be able to easily add on extra pages of items, put items anywhere, make them do whatever you want in a very organized fashion. And if you understand it really well, you should be able to take it and just make it work with, say, chest mine carts or something more multiplayer friendly. So first off, obviously I already made this data pack, so I'm going to be making it again. So let me go data pack disable, chest menu, and I will clear the sidebar for now. So to get started, you want to go to your world save and go to your data packs folder in the world save and make a new data pack. Granted, I'm going to make one based off of, you can copy a previous one, or you can just grab the starter pack in the description and delete all the things you don't need. There's a lot of things you don't need. It's pretty simple. So I'm going to copy the drop menu that we went over in the previous video on how to do drop menus, change it to chest menu 1. And inside, I'm going to rename the namespace to chest menu. And as always, when you make a new data pack, you go into, don't need this, you just need tags, functions, you jump into there, open those guys up, close this. All right, so then you just put the namespace here, colon the title, because this is going to say which function is played every tick and which function is played when you load. Then inside here, we don't need this. We just need tags, items, and we also need functions, and we don't need this or this or this. And we just have init and main, and we will clear them out. Okay, so starting as fresh as I can within reason, we need to work our way up to this. That's where we're working towards. So I'm gonna have a new chest over here for that menu. Okay. So there's a lot of things that we need to do, and there's a lot of reasons that we need to do them, which is mainly why I pre-recorded this, because there's a lot of little tiny tricks. So basically we want to, when the player clicks on an item, it needs to read the item. There's a few issues with that. If I'm holding the item with my mouse like this, it is not in my inventory. If I do this, data get inventory, it won't show up in here. I won't say stick right now. It'll only say stick if I put it here. So there's no way to see what this stick is, but there is one way, and that is by clearing it. You can clear the item, but it does not, you can't look at what the item is. So those are two big facts that will just be constant throughout this. We're only going to need one scoreboard, and that is going to be called, I'm going to make it a little bit better here. So scoreboard objectives, add chest menu, dummy. So this is a dummy scoreboard called chest menu, and we're just going to throw everything at this into one scoreboard, which is really nice. So we're going to execute as add a run function cm menu / directory. So what I like to do whenever I have menus is I set up subfolders with directories. A directory tells you where to go. That's the point of it, based off of scores. So basically, it's always going to be checking this directory. Now, the question is, do you want it to always check, or only when the criteria applies, when you have one of these menu items? And obviously only when you have a menu item. So let's do a check first before we go to the directory. That way we optimize. So instead of constantly looking if they have an item, constantly looking if they meet certain criteria, you're just going to in general see, and this will cut down on your constant running commands. So we're going to say execute store result score items chest menu, right? That's our scoreboard, chest menu. So this is storing the fake player called items chess menu score, and we're going to store based off of clear at s hashtag cm chest menu 10. Okay, so this is a trick. Let me show you how it works. So if I have 5 polished andesite, could have chosen a better item. I can clear polished granite, right? And that would just clear everything, right? And it says removed 4 items. But if I do 0, it says found 4 items matching. So if you add a 0 to the end, it just tells you how many items match it. So you're clearing nothing, but it will still tell you how many there are. And additively, I can do menu:1, and this will find if I have any items that have a special tag. And we'll say is menu 1b. So all of the items that go into this menu will have a special tag that denotes that they're like a special item that has to do with menus. And this is going to help later. Now you might be wondering what the hashtag chest menu is. It's a group. So you can do clear at a this, and this just means the hashtag means group of items, and this is the name of the group. So we're going to make the group right now. So we go tags, items, copy the one that's already here. It's a JSON file. You can call it chest menu. You make a JSON file, name it something, put it under these directories, and this is just going to let you group items. So what we're going to use is we're going to use red wool. I know that in the beginning I said you're going to make this thing with the diamond and the stick, but we're going to make it more fancy because we're cool here. We're going to have, let's see, actually diamond sword. We're going to have bow. We're going to have red wool. And we are going to have cooked chicken. And you're going to kind of see where this is going to come into effect. And you can really make this really cool. But anyway, so this is just going to store any items that we have that are in the chest that could have the tag. And we'll build this, so we'll keep it on the left. This will never change, so we'll close it. This will never change, so we'll close it. But we're going to keep this open because we're going to build off of it. All right, so if we have any of these items that have the tag, then this score here will be a different number. So execute if score items chest menu matches 1 or bigger, run function cm menu directory. So now you only run the directory if they have at least 1 or more of the items. So now we can start actually figuring out what those items are. So normally I would use a similar method like this one, along with using a data get, but you can't use that because the item does not exist in your inventory at this stage. So this item is invisible except for /clear. So we're gonna have to create a /clear check array, as I might call it. So let's just make it simple. We're gonna call it get page and get selection. So there's 2 things in this. There's pages and selections. Page is which page you're on. So this is page 0. And when I clicked on the stick, it showed different things. That was page 1. So you have a page number, and then your selection is which item you picked. And that's kind of your system to figure out where players are. So in order to get the page that you're on, we're going to have to do a lot of things. So we can only check if the item exists using clear. That's the key. So instead, we have to see. So if I do, let's create some custom MBT, menu page 1. Or let's just call it do page 1. Okay. So if the page is 1, then this will return true if there is an item that has page of 1. So we can check what page it is by just doing all the options here. So page 0, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, stuff like that. Okay, we're only going to need these 3. Actually, we need 1 more for my example. Now we need to store this information somewhere. So this is where we have to get a little bit messy. So we're going to create a intermediate player called bool, and he's going to be used to see if any of these were true. So execute if scoreboard players set bool chest menu 0. So he starts off at 0. Okay, Then we do execute store result score bool chest menu run. So now, just like before, where items gave us the number of items that match the criteria, bool give us the number of bools. And instead of result, let's just make it as success. So now it will be locked to 0 or 1. So I can just do this and change this to polished granite 0 and scoreboard objectives add chest menu dummy scoreboard objectives display sidebar chest menu, and there you go. So it was true because it found something, but if I delete that polished granite, it is false because it does not have it. Okay, so we see if there is something like this, right? Then if that was true, so if score bool chest menu matches 1, then run scoreboard players set at s chest menu 0. So if you have something that has a page of 0, then you are on page 0, right? If you have something that is a chest of 1, then you are on page 1. So this is how you can figure out what page they're on. Of course, you don't want to figure out the page. It's kind of complicated. Okay, so you'll see what I mean in a second here. So let's go ahead and just build out these. So if it's 2, then 2. If it's 3, then 3. So this is one of the functions that you're going to have to keep in your mind. You're going to come back to it if you want to expand on this all the time. Anytime you want to add a page, you need to add an extra line to this function. Just for the sake of you, somebody just jumping into it, I'll pre-program 12 pages for you to mess with into here so that you don't forget it. No, because then you might forget it. All right, fine. We're only going to have the 3. So that's pretty much all you have to do, though. You just copy these 2 lines, paste it, and change the number. So now in selection is constant. So selection is basically like which item you put in here. Now, what is the maximum number you could have on selection? 27, because there's only 27 slots. So we will need to do the exact same check like this, but instead just of s, do selection, and instead of page, you do selection. So if your selection is 0, then set it to 0. That's fine, and you need it for all of the possibilities. Okay, so I went ahead and pounded them all out. It's 55 in total. I don't like this solution to the problem, but there is no better solution at the moment for figuring out what number they picked based off of the item that is invisible. So that is our only solution for this structure. So it's pretty much exactly the same, except using a fake player, because you don't care. It's good to remember what page you're on, but you don't care what item they picked necessarily. So in the directory, we just have to play get page and get selection. So now you grab them and they will be stored as at s is the page they're on and selection is the selection they picked. So first we check what their page is on. So if score at s chest menu matches 0, run function cm menu page 0 directory. So again, we're just going one directory to another directory and it becomes like a tree. So we're gonna need 3 of these for what I have in my mind. So we'll just make 3 right now. Anytime you add a new page, always expand this. Expand for new pages. And I will add that into this. All right. So then this is going to go into the pages. There's a little bit more interesting stuff that you'll see that comes up here that also came up in the drop inventory, but we're just going to copy the directory here and delete this and change with selection. So now that we're inside a page, we can delineate based off of what they picked, what item they picked. Okay, so then now you can actually do things. So we can say 3, say 2, say 1, and say 0. So this will just let us test, right? And then in the page, we're also going to need a function that gets the items. And in this function that gets the items, it just needs to stuff the items into the chest. And we're going to need an extra function that resets the chest and stuffs the items. So this is going to be similar. So instead of doing directory, we're just going to do items. So this is going to call, based on what page you're on, which items get stuffed into the chest. So this is like refilling the chest. So we're going to do data remove block. And this is where things start to get based off of, like, this is where the system gets locked into place of what type it is. So whatever coordinates are in your world, you put them here. Yes. So this is going to clear the chest by removing all items. So in the chest, there's a data construct called items. So if I do that, this will clear all the items from the chest. So that's just a quick way to empty the chest, and then this will now play commands to fill the chest. So in page 0, when you're filling the chest, we need to fill it. So how do we do that? We're going to do data modify. And I'm only using modify because it's like easier for you to read, but you could do it all in one command for like a set block or a merge, but I'm doing it so it's easier to read. And we're going to do items, insert 0, value, ID, Minecraft : diamond sword. And you have to make sure you at least have a count of 1B. And then let's do tag. And then the tags would be is menu 1B page. And this is going to be what page you're on. And selection, this is going to be what selection you do. So I'm going to do the case of 1 because I don't like having 0. It helps me with debugging to have a debug case. So let me zoom in a bit. Sorry if that hurt your eyes a bit, strained your eyes a bit. Sorry, guys. Okay, so we're going to have a couple of these. So we're going to have selection 1, 2, 3, and we're gonna say 0. We'll say error is if some error comes up, but these are going to be 1, 2, 3 should be the only options, and instead we'll have diamond sword, bow, cooked chicken. Did I spell cooked wrong? Cooked. Cocked? No, cooked. Man, I'm looking at things weird today. Okay, so basically what this means is when you grab the item remembers the page you were on, page 0, and the selection, what choice you made, and it will read it from there. So let's run through the whole play-by-play of what's going to happen. So, So first we're going to, so the player clicks on an item and that's what triggers this happening. They have an item in their inventory that matches the criteria. So first we're going to figure out what page that item is. We're going to figure out what selection that item is. So we're going to get 0 and 1 if we click on the diamond sword. Then we're going to, if the page was 0, then we're going to go to page 0 and figure out what to do based off of what the selection was. So we go into page 0 and we figure out that based off of the selection, we should say 1. And then after it does that, it updates to put all the items back in their place based off of which page you're on. So if I type reload, I can do function cm menu update, directory, to kick it off. scoreboard players set at S, chest menu 0. There you go. That kicks it off. One thing I forgot is the slot. So we need to say slot 12B, 13B, and 14B. You need to specify where the item goes. There you go. So now you have these three. When you click it, it spams one like crazy. So what did we forget? We forgot to clear these items. So after you're done, you need to clear all those items. So reload. And there you go. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. See? Easy, easy, easy. Now I know that maybe it seems like crazy how I thought of this. I kind of pulled it out of nowhere, but it was based off of a little bit of testing and a little bit of, well, this doesn't work, so I'll go with that. And it's based off of the previous system for how it fills up. So that's the basis, and now we're going to just show how to work with it, because that's basically that. There's one more thing we have to make sure. So if you go to page 0 and you want to go to the next page, it's possible to set up properly, but the best way that I find to do it is to use something similar to like the bool thing. This is like what I consider anti-slip. So you do scoreboard players set bool chest menu 0. Okay, so we're going to basically see, so store success bool chest menu store resist skull. Okay. Shoot, sorry. Not there. If score bool chest menu matches 0. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. So basically, if your Boolean value is 0, then go ahead and jump into the subdirectory. But in the subdirectory, we set the score to 1. So if it successfully registered an action of a page, if it successfully says 1, then it won't try to do it again if I switch pages. Because if you don't do this, what happens is if I do this, scoreboard players set at P page 1, meaning when you click on the first item, then it takes you to page 1. If I do this, then it will take me to page 1, but it will also try and do whatever selection 1 page 1 is. So it does what I call slip, and it just like continues the whatever you were doing to those other pages. So that's not a good thing. But now that we fixed that with this line of code here and this check at the beginning, now it will only go into a subdirectory one time. And instead of say, we're just going to change what page we're on. So from here on, we are on to the stage of how to work with the data pack, which I guess I will have some kind of marker here. This is how to work with it, because what you'll have in the description is going to be something similar to this. I'm going to show you how to expand when you want to make more pages, make things do things, because this is the core. So when you want to make things do things and add more pages, you're going to have to go to CM, you're going to have to go to tags, items, chest menu. This is going to let you add new items that are possibilities in the chest. You just want that open all the time. So I'm going to add a page. This is going to be the sword page. So I'm going to copy one of the pages already, and I'm going to rename it to page 1, which is our sword page. And under directory, I am going to edit this. So if you pick the first thing, it will do give at P diamond sword, stone sword. If I click the second one, it's going to give at P diamond sword. If I click the third one, it will say function CM menu page 1 S3 or whatever I want to name it, and I can add a function into here that does my own thing. That's what I'm showing you. And this one will say TP at S tilde 5. Whatever I want it to do. I'm just trying to show you that you can do multiple things by using an extra function that it plays. And then we're going to have one more, which is selection 4 which will do scoreboard players set at S chest menu, and this is going to take you back to the home page. So this will be a back button. Okay. So the items, now you're going to go into the items and figure this out. So I want this to be a stone sword, and I'm fine with it being in slot 12 and 13. What does the second thing do? A diamond? Diamond sword. 13. And the next one, I will just call it, I'll make it a feather, and I will put it in 14. But then the last item I want to be a back button, so we'll make it a red wool. And I will put it in slot 16. So it'll be like a little bit displaced, some spacing. And all these pages need to be switched to the right number. That is one thing you might forget. But once you do that, the items are set up. So we set up the items. Now keep in mind, did you add any new items? I added the feather. So I need to add feather to this list. Just like that. Okay. Now, once that's done, we set up the page, but now we have to make sure that the page is working. So we're going to go into the directory, and we're going to copy this function here below, change it to be what our page is, the new page. Oh, the new page, just like that. Then we are going to go into get page, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to copy the 2 lines and change the numbers here and here to be the number of our page. Then we are going to go into update, and we are going to finally copy the line and make it the page that is our page and check for the number for our page. So those are all the places that you change when you're checking the page and when you're making a new page. And that's how you make new buttons in the page, just like that. And that is how you make new items. So I will type reload. Oh, sorry. My bad. It should do chest menu, not page. Sorry. So I missed that. Yeah, I got it right here, but I was going fast there. So I go here. There you go. So it takes us to this page, and then this will take us back. Boom, pretty menu. You can change the words to say like helpful things rather than just the names of the items. You can get all fancy with that. But there you go. That is how you go. And then if I click on the stone sword, it has some kind of an issue. Oh, I didn't add stone sword to the list, did I? Duh. So I'll just add it to the list. I feel like this is, again, like Dora the Explorer or something, where I do something wrong or I miss something and everybody's just like, you did it wrong. All right, anyways, there. It gives me a stone sword. It gives me a diamond sword. Teleports me up 5. Keep in mind that it's referenced to the world spawn since it's a data pack. I didn't do at s anywhere, so anyways, so that's how you work with a sub page. And I could have done these other sub pages, but you know the drill. So that's where I'm going to leave you guys. We're just going to hop into the last, which is discussions for further integration. And where I'm going to leave the process of this thing, it will be in the description for you guys to mess around with. Say page 3, not made. Say page 2, not made. Okay. So further discussions of how to expand this and how to form this into something else, because obviously this isn't multiplayer friendly. So what can we do to fix this? And how can you start things off for players? So if you don't want to make this multiplayer friendly, you're totally fine. The first thing you need to do is when you open the chest, cause an update. So scoreboard objectives add open chest Minecraft dot custom Minecraft dot interact with open chest. Okay, so I can add this score, right, and then I can go in the main function. I can add execute as at a scores equals open chest equals 1 run function cm menu slash update and scoreboard players set at a open chest 0. Okay, so I can do that that would help initialize things. So let me go into creative, put a chest down. There's nothing in there, right? But as soon as I open it, it has stuff in there. So that's going to be a part of it as well. I know this is kind of a long video, but I'll include that stuff as well. That's just how it gets initialized. Now for yours, what you're going to have to do is under update, you need to change these coordinates to whatever your coordinates are, and all of the items pages, you're going to have to change the coordinates to whatever yours are. Just use control H 1556 2 to your coordinates X, Y, Z. You could do tilde and have entities that mark where these special chests are, which is fine. But this is where we talk about adapting this to what you want to do, because I know that like there's different things that you could do it in an entity chest or ender chest or a mule chest, which is the most multiplayer friendly, I believe. If you have a mule with a chest on its back, a donkey with a chest on its back, I think only one player can open it at a time, which is going to help with any possible bugs. So if you are doing it for a server and you want to use this still and you want to use it multiplayer friendly, try and go with an invisible donkey with a chest on its back, and instead of data modify block, you use data modify entity and add these items to the chest on the mule. You'll have to figure out what the path is yourself. And instead of data remove in here, instead of data remove block, data remove entity. So that's, you only have to change like basically two things to make it adapt to your method, right here and here. The main like beauty of this is it sets up a method for, depending on what item the player has, figure out what page they're on or what to do. And that's what 90% of this does. That's why I formulated it this way, because it'd be fairly easy to expand and also very modular, because you can take this, just change a few little intricacies of how the items get displayed, but it still maintains the format of page and selection. Anyways, I'm pretty much out of breath now, guys. Hopefully that was good. I did take a little bit of extra time preparing this, so hopefully it turned out a little better than expected. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.